Hey Lock Flow, today we're going to look at some lockdown tips. I played lockdown for a long time. It's really how I learned the half guard. I didn't really start with the basic triangle half guard that a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does. I kind of learned the lockdown first and kind of learned the other half guards after that, a little backwards. But from all that time playing with the lockdown, I found a couple tips and tricks that made a big difference in my half guard game. So maybe you'll find useful too. Let's look at the basic lockdown first. Little tricks here. So the basic lockdown, just to refresh, I'm going outside leg over, cinch it into his knee here. So I'm stepping over his leg, cinch it up. My inside leg is going to come on top of my foot. My foot's going to hook on the other side of his calf. I'm going to stretch it out, lock it down. Okay. So this is a really good control position. I really like this because I feel like I have a lot of power to dictate where my opponent's going. I can really slow him down. I love using this on really fast guys. This lets me kind of bring the pace back in the way I want it. So the problem with the lockdown here is you're going to run into, especially at the higher levels, I've had to deal with this a lot as I keep training longer, is the lockdown's really good at preventing a guy from pulling his leg through. So if Paul tries to pull his leg towards me, it's really easy for me to keep control of it. But if I'm keeping this, I'm extending out, pinching my knees together, if I'm doing this, he can start pulling his heel towards his butt and rotate it out, and then he's starting to switch to the unstoppable half guard pass here. A really powerful position. Once guys get here, it's really hard to play a really good half guard game because he's got so much position on me. He has so much control over my hips. It's really easy to start busting through my legs. So if you get a guy that likes to do that switch, if he's not pulling his leg through, if he's curling his heel towards his butt and starting to flick it to the outside, you're playing this chase game, trying to get back to it. It's going to be really frustrating, really tiring too. But after playing for a while, I figured out a little leg position transition that will make it a little bit easier for you. So in the lockdown here, I'm straightening my legs out. It's really hard for Paul to pull his leg through. But if he starts to play this rotation game, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flare this knee out, put pressure on the back of his calf while flaring it out. So now I'm going to pull your hip towards your butt ball. So he's going to lock it up. It's a little tweak. So instead of going straight forward, pinch my knees together, curl your hips towards your butt now, he has the space to do that. Instead, I'm going to flare this knee out. I'm still trying to keep my left foot on my right calf. But instead of going together, I'm going to go out. So I'm putting pressure on the back of his calf, right below his knee, right below the joint there. So I'm pulling the heel towards your butt. Much more difficult for him. But what I got to be worried about though is not pinching my knees. Start pulling your knee through, Paul. I lose a little bit of control of him pulling his knee through. So I'm going to kind of just feel his movement. If I'm feeling he's pulling his knee, I'm just going to pinch my knees. If I feel me start curling his heel, I'll flare my knee out, start locking this up. Okay? So that leg movement, just kind of get a better angle on it here. My basic lockdowns like this, I'm trying to get as much tension on the leg going out as possible. If I feel that going out as possible. If I feel that he's starting to curl his heel, I'm going to flare this knee out like this as this leg's straightening. So a little bit of angle like this. Okay? That's so you get a better angle on that. It's going out like this. Putting more pressure on the inside of his calf, keeping him from escaping the lockdown. And then the other tip I want to cover is a little whip up tip. Okay, so get your lockdown in, you're good at keeping his legs locked. Let's say you got double underhooks. If you guys have trouble doing that, go check out Eddie's book. He'll be able to teach you a lot better ways to get double underhooks than I can. So over here, control him on top of me. Now guys that are really wise in the lockdown game, which there's a lot of them now because the system's got pretty popular, they're here really good at sinking their hips back. It's really hard for me to start coming up. So keeping their hips nice and heavy and keeping me flat. So instead of trying to whip this direction, which is my preference here, I like to kick my feet, try to keep my legs straight, try to whip up over my shoulder as much as I can, come up to my side. Instead of doing that, I'll whip the wrong direction first. So if I want to get up to my side this way, I'll whip him this way. So if I go here, Paul has to sink his hips back to adjust. And that's when I adjust it up on my side here. So look at that angle this way. Okay, so we're here. I have a really hard time getting Paul to whip. So I'm going to go the wrong direction first. So I got my hands in his armpits. He fights back and uses his readjustment to swing back to my other side. This has made a pretty big difference in my game. You start working your old school sweeps, start going up into the dog fights or whatever game you prefer. That's made a pretty big difference in how my lockdown game has improved. So try it out, hopefully it works for you. Feel free to go online, check out my book, Cauliflower Chronicles, in stores November 16th. It's also on Amazon, video videos. Victor Bell Publishing is releasing it. It should be a good read, and thank you.